Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hey, thank you so much for listening. I am going to focus this episode on children's books, specifically the marketing of children's books and the added value that you can bring to those projects. The idea with added value is leveraging your children's audiobook to build your following, to increase engagement, and to raise your author platform. Let's get started. As you will certainly be aware, with kids' books, children's books, it is the parents, the grandparents, the teachers, the childcare providers, the educators, the adults in the lives of the children you have written your book for. These are the people that you are marketing to. But, of course, the children also need to love the content. As with any book or audiobook project, the first thing that is critical to success is the quality of your manuscript. So we're always starting with that as a given. Focus on that first. Make sure you have a great manuscript. And then when you feel it is completely ready, it's professionally edited, then you're ready to move into your audiobook phase. Let's talk a little bit about bonus material in general, but also more targeted towards children's books specifically. In general, the concept of adding bonus material is not just to fill it out. It is not filler. It is not empty sound bites. It really is designed to add to the experience, the user experience, the listener experience. We want to create the very best listening experience we can. And when we do that, then your listeners at the end of the audiobook, the end of the main part of the content of your book, they're ready for more. They want to know what else you have to offer, typically. And it is that desire that we want to address. It is that need that we want to fulfill. And in fact, we want to encourage even more of that desire. What we want to do is take the desire and we want to help it grow. We want to nurture it. And it is by nurturing your audience at the end of your audiobook that you actually leverage your audiobook to help you in other ways. I want to encourage you to think about the things that we would do to help ourselves as authors as something much larger. For one thing, for you to be able to continue to provide valuable content, you need to be supported in the work that you do. And so that is one way. But from the customer perspective, the what's in it for me perspective, you are meeting a need or fulfilling a desire. And the more you can serve your customer, your listener, with the kind of content that they need or desire, the more benefit you are providing in the world, the more value. And therefore, it is natural in the way that things work that the more value you provide, that the more you will be able to receive yourself. They say that the best way to earn more money is to help more people. So that's what I'm trying to describe in that last statement. So now diving into a little more deeply the specific genre of children's books, what kind of end-of-book bonus experience might you provide for your listeners and their parents? As with audiobooks for adults, one option would be an interview with the author. Depending on the age range that your book is designed for, this interview could be targeted to the parents of those children. But if it's a book for elementary school children that may be doing early chapter books, it might actually be for the kids themselves. So this is a question that would, really, again, sort of be very much dependent on who your target is for that specific content. Now, here's a twist on that could be more appropriate for very young children, but would still be appropriate for older kids. And that would be to have an interview with one of the characters in the story, or more than one of the characters in the story. This could be a lot of fun, and you want to think about, first of all, which character is being interviewed, but also who they're being interviewed by. Maybe they're being interviewed by one of the other characters. So you want to think again about who's your listener, what will be entertaining to them and appropriate, and then have a lot of fun with it. Because if you have fun with it, then probably the kids will too. Another bonus option would be offering another story. Maybe you have another book that you have published, but you don't want to do that as a separate audiobook. Or maybe you have some material that you haven't published, but would like to throw it in as a bonus. Maybe you've been working on some sketches for additional books in a series with the same characters. There are all kinds of possibilities, so let your imagination ruminate on some of those options when it comes to possibilities for some additional bonus material. Let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about some more bonus material options and then some other options that are not bonus, but they are things that you can do additionally with your audiobook audio once you have it. We'll be right back.
Looking for a way to bring your children's book to life in an engaging way for young ones? At Pro Audio Voices, we bring together decades of experience with audio production, teaching, and parenting to craft a listening experience that will delight children and parents alike. If you're looking for an experienced team to bring your children's book to life in audio, check out proaudiovoices.com.
All right, so coming back to some additional bonus material that may fit your children's book content and target market. Another, and this is one of the key things that I want to suggest to you, and that is an invitation to your website. There is a caveat, because you have to provide some additional content on your website, and you may not have that existing as yet. But here are some good reasons why you would want to create content on your website for your kid audience, as well as for their significant adults. Now, I'm going to list out some ideas here, but I want to first mention that just as with an interview, one of the cool things that you can do with that is do a longer interview, but then only share a portion of it as the bonus material, and then invite them to your website to see the full interview or to hear the full interview. The same can be true with several of these other options that I'm now going to suggest. So one would be for some activity that is related to your book content that you could offer, and maybe the first part of the activity is included in the audiobook, but then there is some component that will draw them to the website, maybe either to, it could be check their answers or get a clue for something or any number of other things. Use your creativity to think about, how could I get something started and have a fun invitation to the website to finish it up, to have finish the game, if you will. And in fact, games is the next thing on my list. What kind of game could you initiate with a child that then could be continued on your website? Or maybe the whole game is on the website. That's also fine. But you want to think about, what kind of game could you play or create for kids so that they could have more fun if they continue over to your website and continue to engage with your material. In fact, if your website is set up such that they can reach out to you and contact you, you could have as a prize that you respond to some question that they have, or that you will contact them if they do a particular thing on your website or come to your site or something like that. But just connecting with you on a more personal level could be really quite exciting for them. Other things that you can invite them to your website to find out more about would include other titles that you've written, other educational content. Like, for example, you could have a picture. Let's say that your book is illustrated, or at least you have one picture. Maybe it's even the book cover. If you create it such that they can download that picture as a puzzle, and you could even add cut lines so that parents could cut it out, print it out and cut it out so that their kids can put it together. That's a kind of simple activity, easy to download, something you can offer for free. Obviously, you can get fancier with that and, create related content that you can sell, for example, as a puzzle. But there are so many inexpensive or free ways that you can create valuable content that you can share with your audiobook listeners and your website visitors. So those are some of the ideas, and it's just to get you started. But so those are some of the ideas that you might consider when you're thinking about bonus material for your children's book. Now, I just want to touch on some of the other options for you relating to the audio that has been created for your children's book. Once you have the audio, here are just a couple ideas on other things that you can do with that audio. One is you could create a video version of your audiobook, and you could use still images from your book if you have it illustrated. Or you could also take those same illustrations and create some minimal animation. In an earlier episode, I interviewed Brad Pohl, who has done this with his own children's book and can offer that kind of service at a very reasonable cost to other authors who are looking for an interactive experience with a children's, slightly animated book. Another idea would be to take that audio and create a video using puppets telling the story. And this could be especially helpful if your book is not illustrated as yet. And still another option would be images of the physical book, if you have it published, where we see the pages turn and you create a video in that way. And there are lots of options for you, taking your audio and creating video from it. And if you create a video, you might also then, at the end of the video, think about, well, what content can I offer at the end of that might be an additional bonus? We want to keep thinking about the journey that we're taking our customers on. What is the path that you want them to follow? How can you keep them engaged with you? Because the more that they can engage with you, if you're providing great content, the more they are going to benefit, and the more you will benefit. So it should be a win-win. And when we talk about video and creating your audiobook as a video, typically this would be a way where you're actually giving your content away. And I know that some people worry about that. I want to encourage you to not stress out about giving your content away, but really think about those efforts as a way to raise awareness, increase discoverability, build your author platform, build your following. And keep in mind that there are other ways to earn from your efforts, such as platforms like Patreon or simply asking for donations, or monetizing spin-off additional content. For example, if you were to take an image from your book or your cover image and turn that into a puzzle that you then sell. There are so many different ways, different strategies, different products, different services that can be built together in order to earn you the income that you need from your work, and also that will help serve more people and provide more value. If you have any questions about what you might be able to do with your kid's book, I hope you'll reach out to us at proaudiovoices.com. Thanks so much for listening. Go inspire the world with your stories. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.